Hi everybody, this is Leo. Thanks for watching the video. Today is May 29th of 2020, and I came across this news story from 4029. That's my local Northwest Arkansas news authority. And the headline says, Trump tweets, when the shooting starts, when the looting starts, the shooting starts. Twitter adds glorifying violence warning. So he was flagged on Twitter for glorifying violence. Well, everybody in the comments thought that was a problem, but they thought it was a problem because of what he said. It's not what he said that's the problem. All right, let's back up a little bit. Twitter flagged it as glorifying violence. They didn't say Trump wants to shoot looters. They didn't say he was talking about people shooting each other over looting rights. They said he was glorifying violence. That's all. Well, was he? Was he glorifying violence? Well, have to define a couple things. In my opinion, the only legitimate use of violence is to defend against violence initiated by others. That's not how we use it. We mostly use it to achieve goals other than defense. Like, for example, each one of us has an opinion on what's wrong with the world today and how to fix it. And that's a social goal. We have social goals. A lot of us have political goals. There's things politically that we think should be imposed on everybody in the whole country, if not the world. And the only way to impose those that we can think of is violence. So that's what we do. Well, the use of violence to achieve social or political goals is the very definition of terrorism. Repeat. The use of violence to achieve social or political goals is the very definition of terrorism. Human culture is inherently violent. It's not a failing, it's who we are. It's a determining component of our very nature. It helped us to get where we are. We survived, largely because of our capacity for violence. Subsequently, we've created a world in which most of us don't face the degree of daily danger that our ancestors did. We're making the existential justification for violence obsolete. And we're wasting the rewards of that very underappreciated achievement. We're wasting our potential. If we want to get better as a species, we're going to have to put some effort into it. We're going to have to overcome our instinctive dependence on violence and figure out how to solve our problems peacefully, even if we don't like it, especially when we don't like it. That's really hard to do for us. This is where that effort I mentioned earlier comes in. But we don't want to do it because it's too hard. Well, here's what it's going to take. Don't initiate violence. Now, by violence, I mean something very specific. Everybody can have their own idea about what's violent, what's not, what deserves to be called violence. What I mean is any deliberate action by a person or group of persons that results in unwanted physical harm or a credible and imminent threat of such harm against any other person or persons. Also, don't petition the government to initiate violence on your behalf. Immorality perpetrated by an individual is still immoral when perpetrated by a group. And that's it. That's all we have to do. Don't initiate violence. Don't petition the government to initiate violence on your behalf. Now, if someone initiates violence against you or your property, you're entitled to defend. If you initiate violence and it turns out badly for you, well, maybe you shouldn't have done that, huh? There is no other legitimate use of violence, period. No other legitimate use. Exclamation point. So, when President Trump speaks about violence in such an axiomatic way, we should at least recognize that he considers violence to be unavoidable, even normal, business as usual. Well, I think we can change that attitude. Start with the man in the mirror. Yeah, it's hard to do. It takes practice and effort, and we are so naturally inclined to just get mad and offended and think that somebody deserves a punch in the mouth that we won't at least try. Well, that's it for the video. I'm thinking about making future videos expanding on some of the concepts I've mentioned, but it depends on how I feel. This is Leo. Thanks for watching the video, and I look forward to seeing you next time.